from past candidates for this position is I have been a part of the past two administrations and have worked closely with both presidents. And theirs has really been about building the on-campus experience and the community that we have here. And I would like to do that as well. However, I would like to also put a better emphasis on our recruitment and, like, bringing students in. And especially the thing with my platform is when I speak about recruitment, I want to focus particularly on schools and communities around our immediate neighborhoods, such as Hillside High School, Southern High School, I think in Durham, as well as, the different community colleges that are around us, to kind of, like, bring them in and get their attention from opposed to them going to, like, different HBCUs such as A&T or Shaw or St. Augustine's, because we have a unique learning experience as well as a unique student experience here that I feel like should be reverberated throughout the term here.
All right, thank you for that. So the next question will be, what problems do you foresee in the coming year, and how will you address these problems?
So, problems that I do foresee is with us being students, I do feel like that there's going to be a disconnect sometimes with the new ideas and the approaches that we would like to bring to administration. Because yes, we are student leaders. However, at the end of the day, we're still students. So I wouldn't say that we're not respected as much. However, sometimes I feel like administration and even adults on the upper end would like to sometimes challenge the way that we think or challenge the way that we would like to approach something to see if we will maintain with that approach and see if we would like to go that route. So I do intend to, like, continue to stand firm on what we believe and the new ideas and things that we would like to bring throughout this new school year. And yes.
Exactly what qualifies you for running for your position?
So I think I've qualified because I have served in numerous positions and capacities on campus. Within my first year here, I'm a part of University Honors Program. I was a part of the freshman class e-board as well as the executive e-board. I served as the freshman class treasurer. I served as the assistant director of public relations for the executive board. Going into my second year here, I was able to interact with the president and assist him, as well as attend UNC ASG conferences and meetings, as well as work with the elections in the fall of last year. And then I also work on campus as a residence assistant. So all of my experience throughout this different committees, organizations, and clubs that I'm involved in, I feel like give me a good amount of experience to kind of, like, now lead in this position.
Are there specific initiatives that you will implement if elected to help strengthen the relationship between students and administrators here at NTCU?
Yes, there are a numerous amount of new initiatives and ideas that I would like to bring to the table once I am elected in the position, and I will actually have a spread out of a strategic plan that I have for the 2020-21 academic school year. Um, After I get elected, to publicize to the student body that this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it.
Please name a time when you received criticism, whether constructive or negative, and applied it to yourself work or leadership skills.
So, um, so I work as a student. I'm a mass communication student, but I also got into this particular type of study because I grew up doing graphic design. So I have worked with numerous people, organizations, and even artists to, like, market and come up with strategic plans to um, publicize an event. So I can speak as to Homecoming 2019. I worked very closely with the student engagement and leadership staff to publicize and market the different flyers and digital content that was brought for to publicize the different events for homecoming. my first few ideas, they weren't accepted. However, I was able to take the criticism and apply it to what they wanted to see, and able to add in what I took from it as well. And then at the end, I was able to offer up something that was pleasing to everyone.
What does leadership mean to you?
So to me, leadership is not by telling others what to do, but also doing it with them. You know, leaders lead from behind, not from in front. Because to lead, you have to get in the field and work with people to kind of understand what issues or what problems may come up, so that you can also offer up solutions, so that people can also look back at you and know that you have experience and know that you know what you're talking about. So you have to work with your team or with your supporters or whoever it may be, and lead from behind so that they can trust you when you're giving them direction.
Thank you for that. So at this time, um, we are going to let the audience go into the chat box, and I will pick out selective questions for our student body president candidate to answer. So our first question is, recruitment is more of an Eagle Ambassadors thing. How will you ensure that the student retention goes up?
So, thank you for that question, Savoy. So, my plan for student recruitment is working closely with undergraduate admissions, as well as not only encountering and acting with students when they come on campus, but also going to the spaces that they are in, such as going to their high schools and going to their middle schools and going to their classes, and kind of bringing the Eagle experience, or even just a few people such as myself and any other student leaders or normal students around campus, bringing them and having them talk about their experience on campus, to kind of give them a firsthand look at, this is why you should come to Central, and this is why we think that you would be a perfect fit for us.
So another question is, lately communication between SGA and the student body hasn't been the best. How will you make sure that you are a perfect liaison between the student body and faculty?
I think that um, takes into account everyone working well together and communicating effectively, because I do believe that you can never not get better at communicating. So I think the ways and the methods that we communicate may also, I would like to um, strengthen those ways through, as well as social media, email platform, as well as having more live interaction, face to face conversations, and um, delivery of information that SGA is working on, so that we can deliver it to the student body in a respective and informative way. And then to make sure that I wouldn't necessarily say perfect, but a great liaison between the student body and faculty and staff is, just effectively communicating and keeping people up to date on what we're working on. And these are our plans on how we intend to do it. And these are the steps that we're willing to take, and just keeping people updated on the progress of what we're trying to get done.
There seems to be a lack of collaboration and support throughout SIG. What are your plans to have collaborations and leadership?
So definitely, this upcoming year, I have developed a model or a strategy that I would like to cohesively bring SGA, SAB, and Royal Court on to collaborate and communicate to make sure that there is not so much of a lack of collaboration and support throughout SEAL, and also working with the SEAL staff to make sure that we can uphold the new cohesive type of model that I would like to do, as well as I like to bring Mr. and Mrs. onto the executive board so that they have an input and suggestions are heard, as well as SAB, so that everyone can sit at one table and kind of make sure that we're all on the same page. Because I feel like when you sit at different tables and there's no communication going on, then that's how a lack of collaboration happens.
Mhm. Another question is some students' concerns are not feeling safe and also not feeling that they're being advocated for. How will you make sure the students feel safe and their needs are being met?
I think that ties back into the question before that. Just having that open means of communication and keeping students up to date, whether, like I said, that's through the social media platforms, email, or even just like just posting weekly, monthly, whatever, sending out newsletters that this is what we're doing, this is the progress, this is the status of what we're doing, and this is what we're trying to do and how to get through it.
Thank you. And our last question will be why do you want to run for student body president?
I would like to run for student body president because I feel like throughout the different organizations and different experience I have within SGA, as well as my experience with SEAL, my experience as a student, and even working with a lot of faculty and staff over the time that I have been here, I feel like it gives me a great position. It puts me in a great position to be able to advocate for the students, know what the students want, but also understand how to speak and how to relay it back to faculty and staff to get to get our ideas and agenda that we, the students, would like to push onto administration and to make sure and to make sure that they're receptive of what we want to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean, for speaking. So at this time, now we're going to turn over the debate to the student body vice president candidates, Jonte Elliott and Caleb Ingram. So first, I'm going to start with Caleb Ingram to give his speech and let the students that are on this platform to allow them to be educated on why you're winning.
Okay. Being shy does not always work well for me. Running into situations head first isn't the best quality of a leader. Procrastinating to the last minute on some of the assignments isn't the best quality of a leader either, but it's a pretty good quality about me. I would be standing here and tell everyone how great my platform is and how great of a leader I am and all the different accomplishments I've had, but I don't let my work define me. I define my work. The student body here at North Carolina Central University is a great big family, filled with beautiful, smart, intelligent, hardworking, powerful individuals who deserve a leader who will do just that for them. The student body deserves a leader who can not only make a plan, but work the plan as well. The student body vice president that North Carolina Central needs is one who will keep and demonstrate the model of truth and service at all times. Make sure and collaborate with campus organizations to make sure that we have engaging and immersive events for all students. And most importantly, make sure that the Senate is strengthened and solidified to remind students that they too are a part of the Student Government Association. While I cannot promise you that we'll have better food in the CAF, I can promise you more avenues to communicate your concerns with the administration. While I can't promise you that your professors are going to stick to the syllabi that they gave on the first day of class, I can promise you that students and professors will be knowledgeable of the guidelines that we must all follow at our illustrious university. While I can't promise you that I won't make a mistake, I can promise you that I will do my best to get back up. So, as Dr. Shepard would say, we as Eagles are no common, ordinary barnyard fowl. The choice is yours, so choose wisely. Thank you.
So Jonte, I'm going to allow you the same opportunity to give your speech and let the people on live tell them about your platform.
Okay, thank you. So first, I want to start off and say a leader is a person that knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Greetings and good evening, North Carolina Central University. I am John Taylor Elliott, a sophomore nursing student from White Lake, North Carolina. I humbly serve as your I humbly serve as your Mr. Sophomore for the 2019-2020 academic year, student orientation leader, Matt Brother, and so much more. I'm confident that this upcoming year will be incredible as I announce my candidacy to run for your next student body government association vice president for the 2020-2021 academic year. My platform, Incredible, focuses on the power of I, inspire, improve, instruct, and increase, inspiring students to strengthen and maintain their academics, social, and professionalism with excellence, improving the student experience by taking the necessary steps and actions to refine the image and impact of student governance, instructing student government members to become more educated, professional within their branches, positions, and overall influence, increasing student organization participation by informing them and educating them about Senate funding. So vote me, Jonte Elliott, as your next Student Government Association Vice President, and let's be incredible together. Thank you.
Thank you all. So at this moment, we're going to start the question and answer portion through me. So first, since Caleb went first, I'm going to start with Johnson. So the first question is, what is one planned initiative or programming event you have planned to have if elected?
So one thing I would like to implement first. Oh, sorry. Thank you for that question. But the first thing I would like to implement is something called SGA Walk Around Wednesdays. So with this initiative, I want it to be like every other Wednesday we have like booths inside the calf or the hot spots like Chick-fil-A. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A. The Greek Bowl, where you can see student leaders in a more comfortable space, so you can come up and learn about the Senate and other positions you have questions about, funding. I want to also include a Rory Court to be like collaborative with them as well. Thank you for that question.
Caleb, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes, initiative that I would like to start that I actually started planning this year. It's called Time Your Legacy, and it focuses on male retention and recruitment for North Carolina Central University. And basically what this program does is goes out to the surrounding community high schools. And when we go there, we speak specifically with the males, and we talk about the importance of professional dress, professionalism, why it's important to go to college, and then we have kind of breakout sessions individually with the students, where we can tell our own testimonies onto why we chose to go to college in Central specifically. And kind of the main giveaway from that event is teaching the men how to tie their own tie, because that's a really impactful event in every man's life. We want a Central student to be able to give that to high school students. And so from that event, it'll be able to bring more students in to our school that we'll be able to serve. So that's one event that I plan on doing next year. Thank you for that question.
You're welcome. So starting with Caleb this round, what problems do you foresee in the coming year and how will you address these problems?
So it was kind of already stated in one of the questions that was asked of Sean. It definitely would have to be communication, especially now with the social standing of our student body. It kind of feels like the people who are in SGA or Royal Court or just have these positions are on some upper echelon compared to all the other students, and we all know that that's not true. Um, so I definitely want to make sure that all the students and all the student leaders are all working together as with administration, to make sure that all the communication starting at from someone saying that their lights isn't working in the dorm all the way to administration knowing what the problem is. We want to make sure that that whole process is seamless. Um, and sometimes that can kind of get misconstrued along the way, from just not really being eye to eye from the different groups of being a student leader, and an administrator. Um, so I definitely think that'll be one of the problems that I face, but it won't be a problem that will hinder me from doing the best I can in my position. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Jonte, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What problems do you foresee in the coming year and how will you address these problems?
A problem I can see in the forthcoming year is the transition from online classes to back in class because it's been a pretty struggle like doing online classes. So I know when we get back to campus, we're going to have a problem with students getting more like the motivation back to doing online, I mean, in face-to-face classes. So one thing I would like to do, I want to have like a dessert with the deans or like a meeting with the deans where students can voice their opinions and concerns about their department, and they can become more educated and just express themselves about the problems they will face during reverting back to face-to-face classes. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. So now starting back with you, Jonte. Please fully explain your platform and how do you plan to integrate with your term?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yes, please fully explain your platform and how will you plan to integrate it with your term?
Okay, thank you for that question. So, as stated before, my platform is the power of I. It has four main focal points. One focal point is inspiring. So, with inspiring through SGA, I want to increase like programming to make everybody feel represented, regardless of your race, your sexuality, any differences you have made from the other. I want everybody to feel included, and with everybody feeling included, that will also increase involvement on campus because that's a thing that we're lacking with SGA. Also, another platform point I have is improving. So I don't know if anybody knows, but the SGA Constitution hasn't been changed since 2013, and that's unacceptable. So that's one thing I would like to improve because there's so many loopholes in the SGA Constitution, and they need to be tailored to the 21st century that we're in now. I also want to create this platform where students can always feel comfortable with stating how they feel or their concerns or questions, because that's something we don't have right now, like transparency with SGA. Then, with instructing, another platform point of mine, I want to create a SGA enhancement process. With this process, it'll be creating like an orientation process for student leaders or SGA members that will want to join, like want to have a position in the following year. You will be able to be mentored and follow the positions and go to workshops so you can um, feel comfortable with the position, know the role of the position, and know how to fulfill the position you want to acquire in the following year. Then I also want to encourage voter education. I think a lot of students don't even vote on campus. So if you don't vote on campus, then you probably not going to vote in a real election. So we need to make sure students know how to vote, when to vote, who to vote for, and know all about your candidates. And then my last point is increasing. Um, Basically, I want to increase the funding to all student government association organizations by informing student organizations about the available funding necessary. And how do I plan to implement these following things? I want in my first 60 days, I plan on allocating at least $5,000 of the fund. Um, with the Senate, I want to also create a lead Senate for each class, and I want to create a friendly user process, encouraging more students and organizations to apply for the funds. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Caleb, would you like to take this time to rebut?
Yes. So my platform is how to get away with success. And so my first point and probably the most important one is making sure I'm always exemplifying the truth and service motto. And that's just whatever I do, not even in vice president. If someone sees me in the caf, if someone sees me in the gym, they always need to make sure that they see me exemplifying truth and service. Um, Especially in our leadership positions, I know a lot of times people kind of lose sight of what they're actually here for, and they kind of see the all the perks and all the privileges that you get with this position. And so I want to make sure that I'm always grounded in my platform and grounded in my faith and grounded in my passion for student leadership. So that's the first point. The second point is collaboration. And kind of as everyone said, it just needs to be done on a bigger scale. The sky's the limit for a lot of the events and initiatives that we want to do. We just don't have the right connections on campus and off campus to do that. And I also think that a lot of times people have the same events over and over. That's also a lack of communication and collaboration that kind of leads to that redundancy of events. And then the next part of my campaign, excuse me, is just educating and emphasizing the work of the Senate. A lot of people still to this day do not know what the Senate does, and just how powerful they have. And when a lot of people talk about the avocation and SGA and what they kind of have in their mind of what SGA is, a lot of that power resides in the Senate. So I want to make sure that students are aware that they can bring those problems to the Senate. I want to make sure that student organizations are aware how to apply and how to get funds for the organizations. And I want to make sure that the student body is aware of all the work and accomplishments and failures that the Senate may or may not have throughout the year. And I think that would just kind of better keep the students engaged and immersed in what the Student Government Association is doing, because they are a part of the Student Government Association as well. So that's kind of a snapshot of my campaign in layman's terms. Thank you for that question.
All right, so now I'm going to start with Caleb. How will you work alongside the student body president to ensure y'all administration needs and goals are met?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes. How will you work alongside the student body president to ensure y'all administration's needs and goals are met?
I didn't hear like the last part of the question. My bad.
No, you're okay. How will you work alongside the student body president to ensure the administration's needs and goals are met?
So obviously we'll have to work together a lot. So through different conversations, and just really going back and forth on what we both agree on and disagree on, and what we can come together to give to the students. We both kind of, yeah, Sean, of course, we both kind of know what we want for the students, and our own different visions. And I think collaborating and combining those together will make it an even better experience for students.
Thank you. Jonte, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes, that was a great response, Caleb. Um, I plan to work alongside with Sean. Me and Sean worked together since freshman year. So we planned events throughout this year. We had several successful events. I also want to work with Sean. We're going to have meetings and basically effective communication and making sure that both of us have a common end goal. Because you could be working together and y'all both don't have the same goal or the same page. But I want to make sure me and Sean stays on the same page and have the same goal throughout our time to make sure the students' needs and wants are, you know, granted. Thank you for that question.
All right. So now that at this time, we're going to open up for questions from the student body. So I'm going to allow some more questions to come in at this time. All right, we could go ahead and start. So the first question, and whoever would like to answer can start. Understanding that SGA is a governing body, how do you create transparency while helping students learn their rights as students at the institution? So whoever would like to answer the question.
I can go ahead and go first. So kind of what we've all been talking about, communication is really key. So I think it kind of starts from the top down. So knowing the students, knowing what decisions administrators are making, students knowing what decisions we're making, and students knowing what decisions they want to be made. And so that also kind of plays into making sure that students are involved and engaged in student government, because we can only fix and we can only advocate what we know of. So if students are not submitting problems, if students are not talking about things that they want to see or things that they don't want to see, we won't know what to fix. So it's kind of like a give and take on both sides. So yeah, that's what I would say for that.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to rebuttal. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. I'm sorry. Y'all have questions pouring in. What Senate initiatives? Sorry, I don't. So 1 second. Okay. Understanding that SGA is a governing body, how will you create transparency while helping students learn their rights as students at the institution?
As stated before, I want to implement walk around Wednesdays. Walk around Wednesdays, every other Wednesday, you have hot spots on campus where students can feel comfortable in their space to ask questions. Or we can have drop boxes in the Cal. We can have drop boxes at Chick-fil-A where students can ask questions and voice their concern. But the biggest thing we should do is have social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. These are things students are engaged in. So we need to make sure the students know SGA has a page. You can DM SGA your questions or concerns. We should be able to make weekly posts about what we're doing and what kind of plans we have for our students. But thank you for that question.
A question for both candidates. What sets you guys apart from anyone else who has fulfilled this role in SGA VP before?
I
Uh,
can go. You can go ahead, John. It's fine.
okay, can you repeat the question?
A question for both candidates. What sets you guys apart from anyone else who has fulfilled the role of SGA Vice President before you?
Thank you for that question. So, what makes me different from everybody that served in this position before? Well, I served on the Roy Court. I served as a student orientation leader in a MAC building. So I have came, and I was in several organizations. So I came in close contact with other students and how they feel about SGA. I got several perspectives of how people feel about SGA. I was in CPR. We did requests from the Senate and everything, so I know how it works. And um, yeah, thank you for that question.
Caleb, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes. So what makes me different than all the candidates before me, is that kind of what the question was? I'm sorry, could you repeat it again?
Yeah. What sets you guys apart from anyone else who has fulfilled the role of SGA Vice President before you?
Yes. So what makes me different is starting from my freshman year, and really even before I even came on campus, I kind of knew that I wanted to be a part of SGA. And so I've always kept up with who was the vice president, who was the president, and kind of what they did and what they wanted to do. Um, and so coming into it, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And I kind of based off of me and who I am as a person. And just as time went on, as I looked at what leaders did and what worked and what didn't work, I kind of was able to create my own version of what I feel like would be best for the student body. Um, so I would just say it's like a mixture and a culmination of all the different leadership styles I've been able to witness here on, so Central's campus, not just from student government, but from Royal Court and Greek life and maybe even RHA people. So just I would say a mixture of all the different type of leadership styles I've been able to witness here.
Our next question will be, what does your initiatives and events have to do as it pertains to the purpose of the Senate?
Um, I can go first. So I didn't really have, besides Tying Your Legacy, it wasn't that many events that I had planned right now that go with the Senate. The Senate is more, it's not really an event-based organization. Neither really is Student Government Association. The main purpose of Student Government Association is the advocation for the students, and that kind of resides a lot in the Senate. So, the Senate is where the students can submit their problems about what's going on in campus, and we kind of deliberate over those problems and present them to our administration. And the Senate is what disperses the allocated funds to the student organizations on campus. So the events and initiatives that would be involved around Senate would just kind of be more about the promotion of these powers that the Senate has, and making sure that students and student organizations are aware of these powers of the Senate, so everyone can make sure they're getting everything that they deserve. Um, yeah.
Jonte, would you like to answer that question?
Yes. Okay. That was great, Caleb. First, I would like to start off saying my initiatives will basically enhance Student Government Association by giving them the opportunity to learn what they sign up for with my SGA enhancement process. Also, I want the students to know that the Senate is known for the money team, but the Senate can do so much more than just allocate funds. The Senate is powerful. They vote on bills, funding, and they can also impeach someone. I don't think the student body know what exactly do the Senate does. Um, First, I would like to start off with including my senators and more things than just funding because they have so much other power, as stated before. I will use the senators to help rewrite the Constitution and also get it passed. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. How will next question, which goes more into about the Senate, how will you strengthen the Senate?
So I can go. So strengthening the Senate. The main point is firstly, of course, getting our senators and making sure the senators themselves are aware of the powers. Because in years past, I feel like a lot of the senators weren't aware of all the powers that they had. So the first thing I would do as soon as I have all the senators there, is make sure that they are fully versed of the Constitution, basically front and back. So it shouldn't even be any question as to what they can and cannot do in their space. And then after that, I will move on to promoting the Senate and making sure the students are aware of what the Senate can do, as well as what the Senate is doing. Um, and then I'll also make sure that the student organizations that require money from the Senate are aware of application deadlines, how to fill out the application, what the application looks like, and just any other questions that way. And I'll also make sure that the Senate processing is more smoother, as well as transparent for the students to be able to see. So I also plan on having open Senate meetings, so students can come in and witness these for themselves, and be able to speak up in those meetings about problems or concerns that they have.
Thank you. Jonte, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes. First, I would like to work with the student body president to make sure that the senators and everybody else on equal and everybody just know what we're working on. One way I want to strengthen the Senate is by getting the Senate out. Everybody, people don't know the Senate. I want the Senate to be on the front line. I want the senators to go to organizations. Organizations, they should come ask, but why not the senators ask the organizations if the funds not getting allocated correctly? I want my senators to be everywhere. I want them to go to the MAC. Hey, do y'all need any money for any programs? Because the more programs we have, the better programs we have, the different programs we have will increase involvement. And that's something that we really need on Central Campus. We have several SGA events and nobody comes. So instead of doing the same thing, how about we do something new? That's why I'm here to make SGA better. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. So, Jonte, we have a question directed towards you. What do you have to offer for SGA compared what you had to offer as Mr. Song?
Well, I think the question honestly answer itself. It's two different roles. As Mr. Sophomore, I served as a state. I did community service events, but as student body vice president, I feel as if I would be bigger in student body vice president and be able to make more things shake, such as um, allocating funds, um, different programming events. Most of the SGA events are the same events. I want to have different events um, to make it more fun and so people can learn more about the Senate, what they do. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. So, this is going to be the last question. How do you plan on How do you plan on increasing student awareness on bylaws of the student conduct, as well as the awareness of the functioning of the Senate and as they are the hidden figures of SGA, Judicial Board, and Attorney General?
What was the last part about the
So,
attorney general and
how will you? I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. As well, so basically, this person is asking, how will you highlight and bring awareness to hidden figures such as, I guess, people that are in roles like the Judicial Board and Attorney General that don't get to be on the front lines as well with everybody else.
Dante? Did you want to go first? Okay, I can go ahead. Um, So the first thing I would do is making sure that with not just the Senate, but with the entire executive board, that everyone is appreciated. So making sure, especially doing much better than we did last year, that the social media page is always kept up to date. Every different faction within SGA, no matter how small, has its own social media platform where they can present their own stuff. So it doesn't just always get thrown into the void with all the different SGA events, because it seems like there's about 10 events every day. So making sure everyone has their own specific place where they can promote their own stuff, as well as it getting promoted on the SGA page. And just kind of going back to the collaboration across campus and making sure we're not having the same events over and over and over, because then that means people aren't going to want to go to these events or pay attention to them. So if we collaborate more and just have, for example, maybe one business expo um, a month, or if the judicial board is having a hearing, if they can just kind of tell the students, okay, this is what we're doing. Just so students can again feel more engaged with Student Government Association, because students don't really know that they are the biggest body of student government on campus. So thank you for that question.
Thank you. Jonte, would you like to rebut?
Can you please repeat that question for me?
How do you plan on increasing student awareness on the bylaws, other student conduct, as well as awareness on the functionality of the Senate and the hidden figures of SGA, the Judicial Board, and Attorney General?
Thank you for that question. Well, I plan to increase student awareness by effectively communicating and holding everybody accountable for their decisions. I want to make the Senate more visible, taking away from the task of just allocating funds. I want them to get into constitution writing and doing other powerful things that they're in the Constitution to do. I want to work with the judicial board to do programming and advocating for their conduct issues, maybe voting, um, maybe getting them aware of political um, actions and initiatives as well. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming out to the debate. I am Justin Kiaku, and these are our candidates for our student body president and vice president candidates. Thank everyone for joining in tonight.
Thank y'all.